Okay, so welcome to the deep dive, where we like to take, one specific topic and just really like dive in.
Yeah.
And today we are talking about Wicked.
Wicked.
And this is for all of you listeners out there who, love to be in the know about, all these,
The cultural touchstones.
cultural, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The big things,
Not the big ones. Yeah.
that have kind of, stuck around and that we all know.
Yeah.
And Wicked is definitely one of those things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So today we're going to give you like a little crash course in Wicked, and we're going to do that using this article that we found. That's 10 essential things to know about the musical Wicked.
Yeah, it lays it all out.
Yeah.
I mean, but we're gonna go deeper.
Yeah, we're going beyond the lip.
A little bit deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, a little deeper.
Just a surface.
Exactly.
To understand.
So Wicked, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of it, you think of the Broadway show, green faces,
Of course. Yeah.
big, belting voices.
Those iconic costumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it actually started as something else, did it not?
Right. Yeah. It's actually based on a novel by Gregory Maguire.
Okay.
From 1995.
Okay.
And it was called Wicked: The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. So this is Maguire taking
Wow.
the story. We know the classic Wizard of Oz story by L. Frank Baum and kind of building a parallel narrative alongside it. So we're seeing everything from the so-called Wicked Witch's perspective.
So not a sequel, not a prequel, but like happening
It's a parallel
at the same time, just like
at the same time.
another side of the story.
Exactly different lens.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So then in 2003,
2003.
it becomes the Broadway show that we all know and love.
The phenomenon hits the stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was Stephen Schwartz and Winnie Holzman.
The dynamic duo.
They brought this whole thing to life.
Yeah.
And the article talks about how they didn't do it exactly the same.
Yeah.
They took some
Creative liberties.
creative liberties.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So what are some of the big changes that they made from the book?
Well, one of the biggest, and I think this is what a lot of people really connect with, is that central relationship between Elphaba and Glinda.
Okay.
In the novel, it's there, but the musical just makes it the core
Got it.
of the whole story.
Okay.
It's their friendship, their rivalry, everything that kind of drives the narrative forward.
So it becomes almost like
It's almost a buddy story,
Yeah. Yeah.
but with a lot of complexity.
Right, exactly, with a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
So that's a really big one. And then the article also talks about how, Maguire's book gets pretty...
Yeah, it goes there.
Yeah, like...
Gets into the weeds.
Gets into the weeds, yeah, with like political,
Oh, yeah, there's some sharp political satire
Yeah.
happening in that book.
Yeah. So how did the musical kind of approach that side of things?
Well, they still touch on the themes for sure.
Okay.
Like, you can't ignore it.
Right.
But I think the musical leans more heavily into
Okay.
the personal journeys of
Okay.
those two characters and how they interact
Okay.
with these larger forces around them. So it becomes, it's not shying away from politics,
Got it.
but it's definitely centering more on that emotional core.
So the musical is like a little bit more intimate.
I think that's a fair way to put it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let's talk about Elphaba.
Okay. The Wicked Witch herself.
Right. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you think about it, I mean, she's like the classic,
Yeah, archetype.
the
Yes.
ultimate villain.
Wicked Witch. But this musical paints a very different picture.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the article calls her a misunderstood hero, and I think that's really accurate.
Okay.
One of the first things they do is they completely reframe her backstory,
Okay.
her motivations,
Okay.
and even her green skin, which, in the original Oz, it was just like...
Like, oh, you're green, so you're bad.
Exactly. It was just a signifier.
Right. Of her wickedness. But here they make it a symbol of otherness,
Okay.
of being different and facing prejudice from the moment she's born.
So it's like, it's not about being evil. It's about how...
It's about how society perceives
Yeah.
and treats you if you're different.
It's like a metaphor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And then even like the actions that make her seem wicked, it's not like she's just...
Right. She's not twirling her mustache.
Right, yeah.
Like coming up with evil plans.
Exactly.
The article actually points out that her actions come from like a resistance
Okay.
to this corrupt government in Oz.
Wow.
So she's actually fighting against injustice,
Okay.
particularly the way animals are treated.
Interesting.
So she's not driven by pure evil.
Yeah.
she has a strong sense of justice.
Okay.
It's just that her methods can be a little
Unconventional.
unconventional, shall we say.
Yes. Okay, wow, that's interesting. And I mean, it really does make you think about like the power of stories.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
how history gets written.
Right, how easily a narrative can be like
Yeah.
manipulated.
Like propaganda, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have Glinda.
Ah, Glinda the Good.
Yes, and in the original, she's like,
She's the epitome of good.
yeah, like perfect.
The good witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does Wicked do with her character?
Well, it's interesting because they don't completely throw out that image.
Okay.
She starts off very much as this popular,
Okay.
Maybe a little superficial,
Yeah.
kind of like the ultimate popular girl.
Yeah.
But her relationship with Elphaba really forces her to grow
Okay.
and to question the world around her.
Got it.
And, the article talks about how her journey reveals like these complexities of morality and power and societal expectation. So she's not just good.
Right.
She's a product of her environment.
Yeah. And being friends with Elphaba challenges her
Okay.
to think differently.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And like this dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. I mean,
It's such a great pairing.
yeah, they come from such different places.
They're completely different worlds.
And they kind of like, clash, but also like,
They shape each other in really profound ways.
yeah. And then, of course, we have to talk about the music.
Oh, the music.
Because, like, I mean,
Iconic.
it's so good.
Even Schwartz brought his A game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The article mentions a few of them. Defying Gravity for good. Popular.
Bangers.
All bangers. But also, like, they're not just,
They're not just there to be catchy.
Right. They're actually, like, moving the story forward.
They're driving the plot.
Yeah.
They're revealing character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, popular, I mean, it's funny.
Oh, it's so fun.
But it also shows you, like...
It shows you that dynamic between them right at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And how they kind of misunderstand each other.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Glinda's trying to, fit a square peg in a round hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then for good, it's just like...
It was so beautiful. Like,
emotional.
Yeah, about their friendship.
Yeah, how they changed each other.
Yeah.
For the better, even though
it was messy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very messy.
Yeah.
It's a complicated relationship.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, Defying Gravity.
I mean, come on.
End of Act 1.
Chills at time.
It's just like, it's so epic.
Yeah.
The article says it's a pivotal moment in musical theater history.
It's hard to disagree.
And it's not just about, like, her flying,
Right. It's about so much more.
It's about, like...
It's her breaking free from expectations.
Like, I'm not going to let you define me anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a declaration of independence.
Yes.
In song form.
Yeah. It's so powerful.
So good. Okay, so we've talked about, the characters, the music.
Yeah.
But, like, at its core, what would you say this musical is about?
Well, the article keeps coming back to this, and I think it's right.
Okay.
At its heart, it's about the friendship between Elphaba and Glinda.
Okay.
It's about how these two very different people can connect and form this bond.
Yeah.
Even though the world is trying to tear them apart.
Yeah.
And how they hurt each other and misunderstand each other.
Yeah.
But ultimately, there's this possibility of reconciliation.
Okay.
So
it's like a very human story.
Yeah, very human, wrapped up in this fantastical package.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the article also points out that it's not all just like...
Oh, it's not just fluff.
Feel-good friendships.
No. There's some depth there.
Yeah, there's these political undercurrents.
Yeah.
What are some of those like?
Well, the show is very much about, critiquing governance, as the article says. It looks at how public perception is manipulated.
Okay.
We see the wizard using fear and propaganda to control the citizens of Oz.
Yeah.
And then Elphaba kind of becomes this scapegoat.
Right, yeah.
This figure that they can blame everything on.
Yeah.
So it's making us think about, those same forces in our own world. Like how power operates, how narratives are constructed.
Yeah.
It's asking us to think critically.
About who gets to decide.
Yeah.
Who's good, who's bad.
Right.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And, I mean, this show is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
a phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon the article talks about.
The numbers are crazy.
Yeah, like awards, global reach.
Yeah, so it's won over 100 international awards.
Wow.
Including 3 Tony Awards and a Grammy.
Wow.
But then you look at the global reach. It's been performed in over 100 cities in 16 countries.
Wow.
It's been translated into multiple languages.
That's amazing.
It's been seen by over 60 million people.
That's insane.
It's massive.
So why do you think it's had such a universal appeal?
Well, I think the article kind of nails it again.
Right.
It's those themes of acceptance and fighting against bigotry and the importance of seeing things from multiple perspectives.
Okay.
Those are things that resonate with people no matter where they're from.
Right.
It's encouraging empathy. It's challenging us to look beyond the surface and really consider the other side of the story.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. And the Wicked train keeps rolling.
Oh, yeah, it's not slowing down.
Because we got a movie coming.
We got a movie.
Directed by John M. Chu.
The man knows how to make a spectacle.
Yeah. So this story's going to reach even more people.
Oh, yeah, a whole new generation.
Yeah, and even on stage. I mean, it's still...
Oh, yeah, still playing packed houses.
Yeah. So clearly people want to see this.
They can't get enough.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into Wicked, what's your big takeaway?
You know, for me, it's that Wicked is both incredibly entertaining and surprisingly thought-provoking.
Yeah.
You know, it takes this story that we all think we know and it turns it upside down.
Yeah.
It forces us to reconsider our assumptions
Yeah.
about good and evil, heroes and villains.
Yeah.
And, you know, as the article says, it gives us this lens to examine these issues of prejudice and power and friendship and self-acceptance.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And hopefully, listener, you've walked away with a better understanding of, like...
A deeper appreciation.
Yeah, all the different layers.
All the nuances.
Yeah, all the nuances of Wicked.
Yeah.
And it's a story that resonates because it asks us to look beyond the surface.
Yeah, to challenge those easy answers.
Yeah.
And to embrace those different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, listener, as you go forth, you know, think about this.
Think about the stories you think you know.
Yeah.
And whose voices might be missing from those stories.
You know, are there narratives that you've accepted without questioning?
Yeah.
The perspective of those who are marginalized.
Yeah.
Or labeled as wicked.
Wow.
Maybe it's time to revisit those stories.
Yeah.
With a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And see what truths might be hidden there.
That's a great point.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
Food for thought.
Yes, food for thought.